Hello, I'm Mike and welcome to the workshop. This week I'm going to show you how to put a handle into one of these. A sprong or a garden fork depending upon your nomenclature. So let's roll the intro and get down to it. So, to use another Irish colloquialism, this thing is dozed. It's absolutely full of woodworm. I don't know if you can see that there. It's completely rotten. I mean, I could probably just... Yep. Yuck. So, first thing is to get rid of this. Blech. Well, actually the first thing I did was to straighten out the tines using my vise here. This was relievingly difficult. It means that the steel is very good and this is very old. And yeah, I'm going to make use of this for years. So after much grunting and pulling and hammering, I did eventually get it straight. And we can start removing the old. Now, this I thought was going to be really easy because of how rotten it was, but it did take a lot more work than I was thinking. So what I did here, not quite this fast, but I'm excavating, pardon me, around the rivets that are in it, so I can cut the rivets and then I should be able to pop the rivets out and the handle should pop out. Should. It did take a lot more brute forcing than I thought it would. But this is what you're going to run into with these shovel handles. They're all pretty much the same. They'll have the rivets through. That's what holds it in place and theoretically makes it a strong joint. Well, with judicious application of brute strength, pig ignorance, I finally got this out. Now you can see from the block I came out of, which I've temporarily glued back together here, there's a shape to this. The nose comes down, flattens in on the bottom to go into this shape here at the bottom, this thinner part. So I have my new handle that I bought from a hardware shop, and I'll need to put that shape on the bottom of this so it fits the whole way in. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sand off all this lacquer, because as I've said before, you'll get a lot of blisters from the lacquer finish, and this is not actually particularly well shaped or finished. It doesn't feel great in the hand. So that's the first thing that I will do, and then I'll move on to doing that shaping. such a beautiful piece of ash under plastic. So, that's how you shape this. This is just some white spirit just to check that there aren't any rough spots. I recommend that for most times you work on your sand and something, a little bit of white spirits. It'll raise the grain, come back and sand it, any rough spots. But yeah, this is ready to start shaping. Okay, so now we have this sanded, smooth, it's feeling great. It's time to start shaping. So if you look at the plug that came out with the original, you can see it has this shaping here where it's coming down on a little hillock. That's to match this shape in here in the fork. Now you can not do this, you can just shove it in, get it all the way in there. What you end up with is a gap here, and this gap then just creates a weak point where this is not supported. So when you stick it into the ground, you start to lean back, you're going to bend that metal. So to create that, you could use several different things. This is probably a factory one, it's very rough. I'm going to try to do it with my Shinto rasp because I like my Shinto rasp, but I may end up using my belt sander. So let's see how this goes. So for myself here, I'm just going to mark the top in case I get turned around. And I'll just get it in my vise, find a spot where it wants to clamp. Keep this beside me for reference, and we'll just start working our way down. Now this situation can easily happen when you're working with a round thing. So here, it's a quick little tip. So you get it the height you want. Putting a piece like this across stops it going any further down. So after a few minutes of shaping, we have that really nice and tight the whole way in. But I spent so long getting this handle really nice, I think we should do a little bit of work on the actual fork itself. So let's get out some sandpaper, put on a bit of music, and get this looking not new, but certainly well loved.
Now, long-term viewers of my channel will know that my restorations tend to be very sympathetic. I like tools to look their age, but look their age like someone looked after them. So this is very truncated. I spent quite a while getting all the surface rust off and cleaning it down, and then I go over with my trick of using wet dry paper and multi-purpose oil to get into all those nooks and crannies. That works the oil into the surface of the metal, gets rid of all that rust, and makes it look really cool, in my opinion.
due to become one. So I'll get it down as far as I can. I'll tap her home. Make sure everything is nice and straight. And it's time to put the handle on. So we're going to be what's known as cold riveting this on. So I have two way too long galvanized nails. What I'll do is the galvanized nail will go in through one side of this hole here, through the other side. I'll cut it off close, and then we will peen that down. And as we peen that down, it'll pull this plate into place and hold everything nice and tight. The first thing we need to do is drill a hole through. So what I want to do is, as I'm drilling this through, I'm keeping an eye on the back here. I'm going to go roughly halfway and then come through, and I'll end up with a hole that goes between these 2 points that we'll put our nails into. Make sure he's nice and sharp, straight. Now we'll just turn that over and complete the hole from this side. You see there now, we're coming all the way through. I got these pretty much all bang on. I assure you that was more luck than skill. Now let's peen these babies. So I generally have the head of the nail on the front, then peen on the back. Now, originally these would have been hot peened, which means this piece of metal I went through would have been heated super hot, then inserted, hammered down, and as it cooled it would contract and get it even tighter. But for this kind of work, I've never seen that done. In order to replacement, you use a wire nail like this. This is a galvanized nail, which means it's soft but still more than strong enough to hold these together, so it's easy just with a hammer to get it to peen over. I've created an anvil here. I happen to have a lump hammer that has a solid head, no hole in the center. I'll be using that as my anvil. So I'm just going to lob these off with my angle grinder, and then we'll start peening. Alright, so I'm just going to work it down so we mushroom this head out and pull everything nice and tight. And again, I have my anvil here. See there, I'm starting to flatten that out. That's what I want to do. I want it to mushroom, so it closes here and pulls everything tight. So I'm working the edges to create that mushroom shape. So that's it, pretty much so all over bar the shouting. All this needs a little bit of oil and then get to be put back to work.
So thank you as always for staying to the end of the video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And absolutely do try this at home.
So let's roll it! Jesus Christ on the bike. Oh, blacksmiths do this all day. Ugh.